Hey everybody, it's Friday. Hope you're gonna have an incredible weekend. It's time for SMG viewers' comments, so let's get right to it.
I only just started doing the foam trick, but I had to put the foam under my springs for my floating tremolo bridge. I may have to just replace the springs since I've never had the issue of spring vibrations before. But would the foam really do anything behind the nut if you already have a locking nut?
The spring thing didn't just start happening, you just noticed it finally. That's the thing, it's been going on this whole time. Here's the thing, back in the 80s, yeah, I had my 29 fret Washburn with a Floyd on it, and yeah, I'd just jam a hair scrunchie back there, and that would clean things up a little bit. There's like tubes you can put on the springs to kind of kill their vibration as well, but yeah, foam in between the springs will work just as well, and no, you're not gonna hurt anything. But as for behind the nut with a locking tuner, yes, they will still vibrate and cause noise. The trick is, there's no hard and fast rule. You have to do it this way, you don't have to do it this way. The trick is to experiment. Don't be afraid to try doing new things. The trick is record yourself and make your own A/B comparisons. That way you can draw conclusions and figure out what's best for you and your playing style.
I was a drummer in a death metal band for 5 years. Our first EP, the engineer convinced everyone to use sample drums. Needless to say, I wasn't happy because it was my first time recording, but I wanted to get the music out. Second EP, same engineer. I was not taking no for an answer. I tracked, they got mixed, and sounded good. EP comes out, and they are all replaced with samples! I was pissed. I just took it on the chin after my guitar player said the drums were still there, just under them. We didn't last long after that.
Carter, I share your pain, pal. I get it. Some people just can't fucking leave shit alone. They gotta fuck with it. I think that says more about the engineer than your drumming. I could be wrong. Maybe you hit with your purse. You didn't really let us know that. How's your rim shot technique? All that kind of thing. But if they sounded okay, great. Maybe they sounded weak. But then again, maybe the guy didn't really know how to set up drums. Maybe you didn't tune the kit properly. There's a million factors at play there, but recording real drums and making it convincing in modern metal is a challenge unto itself. Believe me, it's not easy to do. That's why you hear so many fucking samples everywhere. Recording drums isn't easy. Please check out my series, How to Record Heavy Drums, and get clued in because it can be a big help to all you guys. I had a situation where I did a record a while back, and the band specifically came to me because they wanted to use real drums. They didn't want to do any of that time alignment bullshit. They wanted to get more of a raw sound. And so I tracked the drums with them, and we handed off the project. And what the mix engineer did, he time aligned everything and replaced everything with fucking samples. And I had a very long chat with them. I said, look, if they had wanted to do that, they would have just tracked everything with you to begin with. But they didn't want to do that. They don't want to sound like everybody else. They want to sound like them. The guy's like, please don't put my name on your show. And I'm just like, oh, for fuck's sakes. You know what? Sometimes it's just best to leave shit alone. And don't fuck with it if it doesn't need to be fucked with. Don't put samples on something just because you can. Samples should be the absolute last resort for any engineer. When you're out of options, then it's okay to use samples. Until then, leave the fucking drums the way they are. But what if they want that good sound? Shut the fuck up! That's what I think!
A cookie cutter approach makes cookie cutter music. T-shirt, please.
Okay, I'll take it under consideration.
Cookie cutter approach makes cookie cutter music. Shirt, please.
Wow, okay, point taken. That was more than a few comments for people wanting that shirt. All right, you asked for it, you got it. It's gonna be this week and this week only. Here it is, this week's shirt. A cookie cutter approach makes cookie cutter music. Get it this week, it'll only be available the next Friday, so grab it now because once it's gone, it will be gone for good. Follow the link in the description below. Now back to the show.
If that can make you feel any better, live sound is just the same. Trying to get a sound check moving at a decent pace with some bands has given me a whole new appreciation for school teachers. Man, I don't think I'd have the patience of corralling kids into being productive, seeing how mind-numbing it can be to have the drummer actually hit the drum you need him hit, and only that fucking drum! While having both the singer and the guitarist shut the fuck up! While remaining calm and civil. Sound familiar? Luckily enough, these I'm blessed to work with pro musicians can actually play, set up, and maintain their instruments and be disciplined to do sound check fast when not being in virtual sound check mode.
Dude, I know exactly what you're going through. I've sat through enough sound checks at gigs with bands who've got no fucking idea what it means to be professional, and you're trying to check one instrument and one guy's just jangling away, doing absolutely nothing, or explain to the drummer what drum you want him to hit, left side of the stage. No, my left, not your left, my left. That side of the stage. Play guitar over there, please. Yeah, that kind of thing. My personal favorite. Hey, tune your guitars. Well, they are in tune. To each other? Oh. Yeah, I share your pain, man. I remember doing live sound at a gig a few years back, and I'm trying to get everything set up and get ready to go for the show. And the guitar player comes in, two of them actually come in, plug in their amps, and just start wailing away. To an empty room with nobody in it, just me and the gear, and I'm trying to get shit done. And the bar crew is just like, they're cringing, and I'm just like, guys, can you give me 20 minutes to fucking get this shit set up? I'd like to hear myself fucking think. Look, I know you're anxious to fucking play, but there's nobody here. I don't want to fucking hear it. I'm sure you're fucking amazing. Show us that during the show. Maybe you want to get warmed up? Great, unplug and go do it somewhere else so I can get my fucking job done so you guys can fucking sound good. Ugh. Musicians, stop trying to shoot yourself in the fucking foot.
Hey Glenn, me and two friends want to make music. I play the guitar and my friends play acoustic and drums. We're the only musical people in our friend group and we want to have some fun recording. We don't have a bassist, but who needs one anyway? Do you think it would be worth it to buy mics and everything to record just to have something to call our own and maybe put it out ourselves? Oh, and also fuck you, Glenn.
Andrew, I think it'd be really worth it if you took some basic grammatical lessons and learned how to use commas and question marks so I can understand what the fuck you're trying to say. Start there. Jeez, I gotta read this shit out loud, people. Can you at least try to grasp the English language and its subtle nuances, like periods? But as to your original question, yes, we all start somewhere. If you don't have a bass player, that's fine. Apparently there's going to be something coming out, something called Easy Bass. I think I'm answering a question about that a little further on, either in this episode or next week. Don't let lack of people hold you back. I mean, you can write your own shit on your laptop these days. You can chart stuff out in Guitar Pro. You want to get together with your friends and start out and make some music and have some fun while doing it? Great, go for it. Like I said, we all start out new one way or another. If you keep at it, things will come together. People will get interested in what you're doing, and hopefully you're going to get yourself a band and you can start gigging and all that cool stuff. But yeah, you got to start. So don't be timid, just fucking dive right in, go for it, and see what you can do. Good luck, man.
Hey Glenn, odd question, but why do guitarists almost exclusively record parts while sitting down? I know why vocalists should stand up to do their parts, and I've seen bass players both stood and or sat, but every guitarist I've ever seen is sitting down for tracking parts. How come?
That's actually a good question. I don't know. I've tracked some guitar players standing up before. It really depends on what they're comfortable with. I mean, like, I get guys like Rafinski and whatnot, and they want to play in classical position, so they've usually got a foot stand on the whole thing just to get the guitar in the proper position so they can do the stretch playing. And I don't know, the sitting down thing, it just lets the guitar player focus maybe a little bit harder. I've never seen a bass player, get through a song standing up. Then again, I've never seen very many bass players walk and chew gum at the same time either. So there is that. Generally, a good idea would be to just have them sit down and try and get through. But yes, vocalists should be standing, obviously, to get the proper muscles stretched out and get the diaphragm going and all that good stuff for good vocal technique. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with a guitar player sitting down to cut his tracks. That being said, KK Downing would do his tracks standing up, like in a room with the amp just blasting. He'd do all his stage moves, while laying down his solos, guitar behind the head, beating the shit out of the whammy bar. And this was like on the Sin After Sin record. Roger Glover's like, I've never seen anything like it. And KK would be like, well, that's part of my sound. I always thought that was really cool. I've just never had a studio big enough where we could try something like that. I think that might be kind of fun. Maybe we should bring that shit back. That might be a little bit more interesting than the, sanitized, censored, fucking no humanity allowed bullshit we call heavy metal these days.
Let me add to the mix on headphones debate. I work in advertising as a producer of TV, radio, and internet commercials, and work in large, expensive professional studios and sound stages such as Company 3, New York, LA, Atlanta, London. I also have recorded my band with no less than 3 different studios of producers in the Atlanta area. Never in my 20 plus years of experience in personal or professional sound recording and mixing has any sound engineer or producer said, wait, we need to check this mix on headphones. As Glenn states over and over, you can mix on headphones. It's just not going to be good unless everyone only listens to your stuff on headphones. Tracking and recording with headphones, yes. Mixing with headphones, no.
Steve, that's a great point. Here in town there, I don't know any high-level mix engineer who's like, oh yeah, I gotta check that mix on headphones. No, because the fucking monitors are gonna give you the real story of what's going on. Tracking on headphones, yeah, I mean, like if you're, especially once you got stuff dialed in, that's great. I would caveat that getting your tones, that's where monitors are going to be paramount. You're going to want the absolute truth to what's going on. Say if you're miking up a drum set or you're dialing in a guitar sound or placing a mic, that kind of thing, you're really going to want a set of monitors. But when it comes to actually, tracking a performance, that kind of thing, then absolutely no problem with that. But yeah, Mixon monitors. The Kali LP6s, guys, they're about $300 US and they're fucking stellar. They're probably the only monitors I've come across for under $500 that fucking sound as good as they do. Link in the description below. They're phenomenal. Check them out. Absolutely amazing. And I should have another video out on the subject either this week or next. Stay tuned for that. It might even be out by now. We'll see. Anyway, link in the description below. Check them out.
What do you hate the most? Bassists that don't learn their craft or vocalists who cut the mic? Cheers.
Oh, definitely the bassists who don't practice. They're the ultimate time wasters in the studio. If a guy's cupping the mic and insists on cupping the mic in the studio, I can have him try it his way because he knows better, and then I'll have him record it for real and then give him a blind test with the band and say, okay, what do you guys like best? 9 times out of 10, they're just gonna pick, the uncupped version because it sounds bigger. But it's not what happens when I do it live. Well, this isn't live. This is the studio, and it's a different ballgame. I can't stand the fucking bass players who don't practice because then you've got to waste hours teaching this dumb motherfucker what to play. And then you got to teach him technique on how to mute the fucking strings that aren't playing so it doesn't sound like shit. This is stuff he should have learned ages ago and has instead decided to come in and waste your time, the band's time, and their budget getting his shit up to snuff. Stuff he should know already. So seriously, fuck that guy.
How about a video on buying entry-level home recording studio? Like what you need, what works, and what is practical for under $1,000.
Hey, Peter, we did a video last year called the $1,500 Recording Studio, and we were able to track a live drum set and do an entire mix with vocals and everything for $1,500. The only weak point was the Mackie CR3 monitors. They sucked, and I would definitely swap those out for the Kali LP6s because the Kalis will blow the fucking Mackies out of the water. They're also 3 times the price, but you're talking $100 versus $300. Go get a job, you cheap fuck. Anyway, under $1,000, yes, it's possible, but you wouldn't be able to do live drums, I don't think. That'd be really pushing it. If you're not intending on doing live drums, that opens up a whole another slew of options, and you can get some really cool gear because you're only going to be tracking 1 or 2 things at a time, maybe vocals and guitars. If you're using programmed drums, yeah, you've got many, many more options. You guys tell me, do you want to see a studio for under $1,000? You want to see that video where we don't use live drums? Do you guys want to see a sub $1,000 recording studio video? Yes or no? Let me know.
About the last thing you said about not sending finished tracks, which totally makes sense, would you recommend maybe sending a piece of, let's say, 20 to 30 seconds so they can listen to it at home to show their friends? Or is it best only to let them listen to it as the studio until they pay?
Jesus, that's a great question, but you got to ask yourself, who are you working for? Are you working for yourself, or are you working for the band's friends? Why do the band's friends have any bearing on what you're doing? Ask yourself that. Why in the fuck would you even consider that? Oh, we want to go show our friends. Great. Fuck you, pay me. Never let anything out until you get paid. 20 or 30 seconds so they can show their friends. No. How about they pay you give them the whole thing, then they can show it to their friends. I like that idea a whole lot better. Remember, man, you hand that out, there's a good chance you're never going to see them again. Yeah, it might be a 20 or 30 second clip. Don't even take that chance. Okay, you're playing with your livelihood. Don't trust the musician. Make sure you get paid. Take care of yourself first. It's a fun business, but it's still a business, and it's really easy to get screwed. Watch out.
Whenever I play guitar for a while, the muscles in my fretting hand ache. I've tried different ways of holding my guitar, but they all usually end up the same. Is there anything I can do, strength training or something, or do I just have a bad hand? Thanks from the UK.
Alex, that's a phenomenal question. Unfortunately, I'm not qualified to answer that. You really need to go see a doctor or a qualified medical professional of some sort who deals with repetitive strain injuries, that kind of thing. That's exactly what it sounds like you have. You might be practicing too hard. If your hand hurts, stop fucking playing right now. Don't take chances, because if you've got pain and you don't give your hand a chance to rest, you could fuck yourself up even that much more. You might just have bad ergonomics, and that's one thing I like about the Strandberg guitars is it's an ergonomically designed guitar so you can play for long periods of time without hurting yourself. Yeah, the back of the neck feels weird for about the first 5 minutes, but once you get it, you get it. Like, I work in manufacturing, and that was the first thing I noticed about a Strandberg guitar. As soon as I sat down with it, I'm like, oh, this is an ergonomic guitar. This is great. And, I had drinks with Ola at Music Mesa there a couple of years back. We were just sitting out on a patio somewhere. We were talking about the whole ergonomic design of the guitar, and I thought, this is fucking great. This is somebody who gets it, how the human hand works on the instrument. And, he said, he designed the neck be a bit wider at this end, so there'd be more to get grip onto for doing the chords, whereas up here, it's more intricate work. Really fucking cool. So maybe you might want to budget for one of those because there's a very good chance you won't hurt yourself nearly as bad playing one of those instruments. I don't know if you can get past the whole no headstock thing. My suggestion is your health is more important than the aesthetic if you do have any aesthetic hangups. Meanwhile, go see a fucking doctor. Don't fuck around with that shit.
The guy making the argument about $50 monitors is so close to the point. Not everyone should be able to afford equipment like that. If Ferraris were $1,500, everyone would have one. Great, if you're in a position where you need high-quality monitors, you prioritize and budget for them, just like everyone and everything else. Maybe cut down your $700 a week beer and weed habit, too. That would help. You are not entitled to high-grade equipment if you are not going to work towards affording it.
Man, I thought I was harsh. There's a lot of truth in that statement, though. I like the whole thing about, if Ferraris were cheap, everybody would have them, and then they'd no longer have the same value as Ferraris. I've got a very high-end set of KS digital monitors at home. We've got some really nice Genelecs here. The thing is, great monitors are certainly within reach, as I keep saying. The Kali LP6s, they're $300 US for the pair, and they're probably the best set I've come across for under $500. If you want a $50 set of monitors, okay, get the fuck out of La La Land, come back to reality, and start saving your money because they will be worth it. Link in the description below. Good luck, dude. Yeah, save up and get some decent monitors. You're only going to get better mixes as a result.
All you had to do instead of going through all that was put a couple of toms next to each other, tune them the same heads and tap on them. Plus the cymbals are distracting from the sound. This is about the drums, not the cymbals. Then do the bass drum together and then the snares together. All this mixing gets in the way when the drums actually sound. This seems like a big waste of time and effort.
I like your handle. Some things can't be fixed. Kind of like your brain! Holy shit, did you completely miss the point? Man, you must be a drummer. The whole point of that shootout was to hear how the drums work in the context of a mix. How are these drums going to sound on a record? Did you completely miss that? By the way, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. Just in case you missed that too!
I was wondering what tips you could give to high school kids who are going to college.
Hey, Christina, thanks so much for asking. I'm going to make a wild assumption that you're going to recording college of some sort or a media arts program or something like that. That's what I did. I did 3 years at the Sheridan Media Arts program at Sheridan College in Oakville, Ontario, which is now like, a post-grad course or something like that. It's a 4-year degree course, which is pretty interesting. Anyway, here's the thing, a few things I remember from college. One, it's way harder than you're gonna expect. And two, it's not as hard as you expect. You just gotta work a lot at it. Generally, do your fucking assignments, budget time, and make sure they get done. They generally really like it when you hand your assignments in. You got to make priorities. If you want to succeed in college, you got to put that before partying, before drinking, any of that shit. And when I was in media, we were at school 5, 6, 7 days a week, doing our assignments, that kind of thing, working in the labs, just getting shit done. And then, we'd have like 1 or 2 or 3 parties for the year. I remember, how the Halloween party was always a big one. We'd all get our shit done and then just, basically, tear up whatever bar we were in on Halloween night. But those parties were few and far between. Most of the time it was all of us working our asses off. We also helped each other out on various projects and worked off each other's skills. I was pretty good at editing, so I do my shows and a whole bunch of other people's stuff. So that's, you just kind of everybody kind of got in the same pot and kind of helped each other out, which is really cool because most of the people I went to school with, I stay in touch with in one way or another. We've all got, we're all still on really, really good terms, which is amazing. I really, really, truly have a lot of respect for most of the people I went to college with. There's 1 or 2 who could go fuck themselves, but they definitely know who they are. The other advice I could be, if somebody offers you a credit card, say no. because that's just gonna fuck you over in ways you can't even begin to imagine. Just don't do that at all. I really need to do a rant one day on being a musician and credit cards and how you can avoid, getting scammed and being sunk into just an overwhelming debt load that you're never gonna crawl out from under. What do you guys think? You wanna see an episode on that? I think that might be fun. Anyway, Christina, best of luck to you in college. Hope it goes well. Hope it leads to a career you can be successful at. All right, everybody. I think that's going to be it for this week. Thank you so much for watching. And if you haven't, please hit the subscribe button. And don't forget about this week's shirt. A cookie cutter approach makes cookie cutter music. Grab it this week because that's all it's going to be available for. Don't forget, leave a comment or a question, and if it's cool, I will try and put it on the show. Until next time, have an amazing weekend, and don't let making records make you crazy. Hey guys, if you liked the video, be sure to subscribe as I post every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. If you want to learn more about recording, check out one of my tutorials or one of my gear reviews if you want the actual honest truth about a piece of equipment.